Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm going to do a review on Breaking Dawn by the wonderful writer Stephanie Meyer. And this is, of course, the fourth book in the Twilight saga, which is composed of Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn. And it took me around, I'm going to say, 4 days to finish this book, which isn't really that bad because it's the longest book in the saga with 754 pages and 39 chapters. And what's really cool about this book is, see how all the books are in Bella's point of view? Well, part of this was in Jacob's. Maybe around 7 or 8 chapters was in Jacob's, which I thought was really, really neat. And this was my favorite book in the saga, the best book. There were surprises, there were shocks, and it was just the best book. The ending was perfect, and that's all I'm going to say. Do not let me ruin this for you. If you did not read it, do not stay for the plot because you're going to be so upset with yourself. You need to read this before you watch this video. Do not let me ruin it for you. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to do the plot now. If you guys didn't read this book, please click out. If you really want to watch it, stay here. And if you're still here, you want to know what happens, but I'm just telling you right now, it's going to be a big regret to you if you did not read this book. So, of course, Edward and Bella are in love, and that's how it starts out, them being in love. And Bella, of course, is going to be turned into a vampire pretty soon. So, she is going to be turned into a vampire pretty soon because, of course, the Volturi are after her, and she wants to become a vampire. And there's one thing she wants to do before becoming a vampire, and that's sleep with Edward. So, she's scared that when she's going to become a vampire that she's not going to have love for Edward anymore, or she's not going to have the same emotions and stuff, so she wants to do that before she's turned into a vampire. And Edward had a condition that they would be married first before they do that, and before she turns into a vampire. So she accepts, and that's a big thing for Bella because she's scared of commitment. So that's basically how it starts off. Bella is driving around in her new car, which is a Mercedes Guardian, as the man said it was, and basically it's like a tank-proof car, it's like missile-proof and all this stuff, and her truck died. She was very upset about that. But Edward got her this car so nothing would happen to her, to protect her on the road and stuff. And it basically flashes back to when Bella and Edward told Charlie they were getting married, and he automatically off. And he actually wasn't really upset. He started hysterical laughing at the end, which I thought was really funny. But he just said she has to tell Renee by herself. And of course, Bella's really scared to tell her mom. She thought her mom was going to freak out on her, but she didn't freak out. So then it fast forwards to the day before the wedding, and Edward has to go to his bachelor party. And he doesn't really want to go. But then Emmett and Jasper come to Bella's house, come to Bella's window, and they drag Edward out, and Bella's really scared. She's like, "You're not going to take him to a strip club, are you?" And they said, "No, they're just going to go hunt some grizzly bears and mountain lions and all that stuff." So they did that. Bella goes to sleep and has a really weird dream of a baby with like bright green eyes and all her family members dead. And then she wakes up and she's like in shock, and Alice is already downstairs. So they go and get ready for the wedding that is later on in the day, and Bella is basically in that room for like hours and hours while Alice pampers her. And actually Rosalie volunteers to do her hair, which is a big thing because of course Rosalie doesn't really like Bella. So she spends the whole day getting pampered, and the wedding finally comes around. And of course, in the epilogue of Eclipse, Jacob finds out they're getting married and he runs away. So Jacob is nowhere to be found in the beginning of the wedding. So they get married, and Bella starts crying, and Edward's so happy, and they're dancing and stuff, and Bella and Edward go outside to take their first dance as husband and wife. And they were surprised waiting for Bella. It was Jacob, and she starts hysterical crying, and everything was complete on her wedding day, which was great. And then he finds out when she's going to be turned into a vampire and wants to sleep with Edward, so he starts freaking out on her and shaking her and said, "Bella, what's wrong with you? He's going to kill you," and all this stuff. So then Edward comes out, gets really upset, and tells him to leave, and Sam comes, and they go away, and that's the last you see of Jacob at the wedding. So the wedding goes on, and of course it's time for Edward and Bella to leave for their honeymoon, and the honeymoon is unexpected. Bella doesn't know where they're going. Say goodbye to all their family and friends, get in the car, and they go to the airport, and they go on their honeymoon, And they go to Ismy's Island, which is of course like an island in South America, and it's beautiful. They swim with dolphins, all this stuff, and it's the big night where Bella wants to sleep with Edward. So of course Edward's really scared that he's gonna like break her or something, or he's gonna hurt her. They go to the ocean and they sleep with each other, and then the next day Bella's all covered with bruises and stuff, and Edward's so scared, he's so ashamed of himself, and Bella's so happy, she's like crying, she's so happy, and Edward's so upset, and he doesn't want to touch her for like the rest of the honeymoon. And then a couple of days after, the same day, Bella persuades Edward that it was fine, she loved it and all this stuff. So of course while they're there, they keep on sleeping with each other and stuff, and Bella starts to get sick, and she's crying, she's having like random dreams and stuff, and one day she starts throwing up and finally remembers that she's 5 days late. So she's getting really upset, she's throwing up and all this stuff, and she finds out that she's pregnant after calling Carlisle, and they go home, and then it skips to Jacob, which was really great. I thought it was so cool that Stephanie Meyer incorporated Jacob's point of view into this, and it's about how he finds out that Bella's pregnant and all this stuff, and she's like really, really sick. And it shows you the whole pregnancy through Jacob's eyes, and she has to drink blood, and the baby's humongous, is breaking her ribs. It's just breaking her apart, and everyone wants it out of her because it's going to kill her, but she will not because she loved it, because it's her and Edward's child. She doesn't want to get rid of it. So the day comes, and she's going to have the baby, and it basically almost kills her, and Carlisle is not here. And of course he's the doctor and he wants to deliver the baby, but Bella is going to die. So Edward injects venom into her, and she becomes a vampire after having the baby. And they find out it's a girl, and it wasn't a boy that was in her dreams. So she named it Renesmee, whatever, which is of course a combination of her mom's name and Edward's mom's name. And then it cuts back to Bella's point of view and how she loves her new powers and stuff, and that actually she still has emotion. She's a newborn vampire, so she thinks she's going to snap at any minute. Her eyes are like deep red, and she still loves Edward the same way. And Edward and her and the baby have a cottage all to themselves back behind the Collins house, a little bit in the woods, in this quaint little cottage all to themselves. So basically they're in love and everything. And Jacob, of course, he was still in love with Bella, but decides to imprint on Renesmee, and she's growing really, really fast, so he imprints on her, and Bella starts freaking out because, I don't know why she freaks out, but she does. She doesn't like that he imprinted on her daughter, and Jacob's basically in love with the baby. So that's what happens, and then one day, Alice predicts that the Volturi are going to come, and she's really scared, and she leaves. Her and Jasper leave. So the Volturi finally come, and the Cullens try to gather up all the witnesses they can, all these tribes, their friends and stuff, and they think they're going to want to fight, but because Irina, which was with Laurent, said she doesn't like Bella in the first place, and she said that child, but there wasn't, because Renesmee is half vampire, half human. So she told the Volturi there was an immortal child, and like someone bit her, and they start coming, and everyone wants to fight, and they basically don't fight, they go away, and everything is happy at the end. Bella is a vampire with Edward, and they spend their rest of their lives together. And Jacob is in love with Renesmee, and when she grows old, they are going to be a couple too. And everything is great at the end. Alice comes back, and that is basically how it ends off, but it leaves me wanting more. So that was the plot. Great book, my favorite in the series, like I said earlier. And I just love that I left out a whole bunch of details, a whole bunch of parts. You guys need to read this. That was my review, guys. 5 out of 5 stars for this book. I loved it. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you find this useful.